Hello and welcome to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin. That's Ashley Quammen.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on La La Land. This is the only nationally broadcast show by Los Angeles artists about Los Angeles artists. Ashley Quammen.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Ashley is an arts professional. She does all kinds of work with theater, marketing, etc. And you're working on some pretty interesting stuff right now, Ashley, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I went to an amazing event last night. It's called Stand Up to Cancer. It was at the Shrine, which is an iconic Los Angeles venue. I'm sure you all know about it.
Yes.
It's a great organization. It was a great event. I actually went there. There was a financial service that was sponsoring. I was working with the corporation that was sponsoring the event, and it was. I hope a lot of you saw it last night on air or on cable, but
I saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah.
It was good, right?
It was great. Taylor Swift, I don't even really listen to Taylor Swift's music, but her song was awesome.
You know, she cried after that song. She was walking off stage and she was crying.
She was almost crying during the song.
It was amazing.
Because it was about her brother, wasn't it? Or somebody related to her?
It was about somebody. It was a boy that she had read about online, I believe, and he had cancer, and she basically followed his 4-year journey of having this disease.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty interesting. But the great thing about the show is that it really focused on the patients, and it focused on their stories, and it really it made it was heart-wrenching. You know, I was sitting in my seat last night just crying because it was crazy. I
can imagine. That's a really great group, Stand Up to Cancer.
Yeah, and you can still donate. Go online, everyone, standuptocancer.com. It's a great organization, so look into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so.
Did you know we're having a co-host contest on the show? I told you that.
I did. I heard about that. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
How do people submit?
We're actually taking video submissions.
Okay.
The deadline is September 21st, and we're going to take the 5 people and give them each 1 week guest co-hosting on La La Land, and then announce, well, that's going to be between October 6th and November 3rd, and then we're going to announce the winner on November 10th.
That's cool.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving. Can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah. So, guys, if you want to submit for that, make sure that you send us an email at lalalandtalk@gmail.com, and just 1-2 minutes and tell us why you think you would be a great co-host. Looking forward to it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope you get a lot of submissions.
I hope so, too.
Maybe I'll submit.
I think you should.
Well, we'll see how this goes first.
All right. We got press releases going out next week, so that should help a lot.
Cool.
Hey, Paul Madrid, engineer. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here today, as you always are. And we have a couple of awesome guests on the show today. We have Sara Stuckey and Michelle Tomlinson, 2 amazingly talented actors. Sara is a theater actress and a vocalist, and our guest from episode 2 coming back now for episode 77. So I'm excited about that.
Wow, 2 to 77.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's exciting.
I know. Huh. And Michelle is a film actress and a producer and a scream queen. And
that's a great title.
Yeah.
How do you get that title, Scream Queen?
You do a lot of horror movies and die a lot, I guess.
That's awesome.
We'll be back on La La Land with Brett and Ashley today on CRN Digital Talk. Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin. That's Ashley Quammen. And we are talking today with actor Sara Stuckey.
Hi.
Hey, Sara. If you have any questions for Sara, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. That's 1-800-336-2225. And thanks for coming back and joining us, Sara.
Sure, I'm happy to be here.
You were our number 2 guest, and now you're on show 77. It's pretty awesome.
7.
Pull your microphone kind of
Am I
closer.
pulling it?
Yeah.
Hello.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Hear me?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
So, Sara, you've done a lot of film work. You are still applying to work as a sommelier.
Sommelier.
I got that wrong on the last show, and I got it right
word.
again.
It's
Yeah.
a hard word.
Hard word. But you know what? If you drink enough, it's much easier to
Rolls
say.
off the tongue.
Rolls
Okay.
right off.
All right, makes a lot of sense. And we wanted to have you back just to kind of talk about some of the stuff that you have going on right now.
Well, actually, I've been kind of taking some time to kind of work on me so that I can, bring into the next phase of Sara J. Stuckey actress.
All right.
So have some new things to bring to the table, to the characters and things that I might play. I've done a couple webisodes in the last year that are just now finally starting to come out and be released, so I'm excited about those. And again, just little guest spots in those, which were a lot of fun to do.
Very cool.
So yeah.
And one of them is Pairings, the series. Tell us
series.
a little bit about that.
It's super cute. It's let's see, How I Met Your Mother meets 40-Year-Old Version meets. Did I say 40-Year-Old Version? I did. 40-Year-Old Virgin. Hi.
We knew.
Yeah.
We got
I know
it.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm practicing for that sommeliership and stuff.
You can say that.
I can. Yeah. I can
it's
see. I
harder.
had a lot to drink, so it
Okay.
came very easy to me. 40-Year-Old Virgin, How I Met Your Mother, and then probably any of your favorite cooking shows from the Food Network. And it's about this young fellow who just can't get a break, can't get a date. And his friends say, hey, you know what? Why don't you just use your mad cooking skills and see if you can try and win a date that way? So he tries a couple of different dating techniques, but he adds in his mad cooking skills and ends up kind of, getting some successful dates by basically being who he is.
And what part do you play?
I play a sweet little role. She's a she's a lovely gal we figured she was from Montana. And she's just one of those very enthusiastic kind of gals who has a voracious appetite. So
she likes to eat.
She likes to eat.
All right.
Really,
Girl
actually.
likes to eat.
Girl likes to eat. And
I love a girl that likes to eat.
And girls love a man who likes to cook. I love that that's the premise of the show.
Absolutely.
That's great.
And Ed Robinson, who stars in the show, and his brother Rick, who's in the show, and I believe they wrote it together and Rick directed it, who are just, first of all, lovely, lovely people, and I love and adore them. But Ed is a fantastic cook, and he has a blog which he calls $5 Feasts, and it sends out a new recipe every week, and the concept is that you can have a gourmet meal but on a budget.
Oh, that's cool.
I would love for you to give him a call sometime because he's fantastic, and you should talk to him about all those kinds of how he came up with the role, because it's a sweet role and a sweet show.
His name's Ed?
Ed,
call in. Tell us about your series. We're waiting for you.
All right.
And you're also the breakout actress of the year for Stage Scene LA, right?
Last season for 2010, 2011. So it was right as just after I'd done my show here before. I think Stephen Stanley announced that I think September of 2011, and it was for the 2010-2011 season. So it was for most of all the shows that I had done that year. So, Into the Woods, Odd Couple, Caught was the big one, I think, for me, them, everybody. It was such a good show. And then also Gypsy towards the end of that. So it was... I feel so trite saying it. It was such an honor to be given the title, but it was an honor.
It's really very cool.
It was very sweet. It was really awesome, and I was like, wow, it was nice to be recognized by somebody who is such a passionate theater goer, and I think has seen enough theater to have a pretty good opinion of what's going on. So I enjoyed it.
People like to give Stephen Stanley a hard time because he gives out so many awards. He gives out 300 of them. But, he's making theater in LA known. He's giving recognition to people. I don't see what's wrong with that.
I agree with you. I first of all, I think Stephen is a lovely, lovely man, and I adore him. And I love his smiling face sitting right out there, front row, every night you come out. And you see this smile on somebody's face, and it's because he genuinely loves theater. And if the people that are in our lives are a reflection of who we are and what we love and enjoy, to see that smile on somebody else's face just says, gosh, you know what? They see the love and joy that I have for what I'm doing, and it's just being reflected right back to me. So
that passion is infectious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's absolutely infectious.
So it may not be a Tony, it may not be some big fancy plastic crystal statue. So what? I think it, and I'm not saying that because I got an award, but I'm saying if I was a fellow theater goer, if I was a fellow audience member sitting out there, and here's this person who says, these are the shows you should see because these are the actors that are going to create the entertainment world that you are going to see in the next, say, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, or maybe 5 years, 5 months, who knows?
Yeah.
These are the people that know their art, they love their art, this is what they do, and we should honor them as much as they honor us by going up on stage every night and bringing to life something that makes us feel something. So
absolutely.
Well said.
I hope so.
Yeah, very well said.
I mean, I think that anybody that's giving recognition to the amazing talent in LA, I mean, I see it on the show all the time. We've gotten to talk to over 300 of these incredibly talented people. There's so much talent in LA, and anybody that's giving recognition to that, I think, deserves props.
Absolutely. So here's to Stephen Stanley.
Yeah.
We like him.
Boy, he got a good plug
There
on
you
this
go.
segment.
Wow.
Stage
Stephen
Gina.
Stanley, call in.
Seriously, he's been a guest.
Yay. Oh, has he been?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yay.
Good stuff.
So great. Excellent.
So, getting into some of that passion that you were talking about, and the energy that you feel toward theater, the feelings you feel toward theater, what do you think is the most important thing to you about being an actress, working on stage or film?
Oh, wow. Well, now you asked a hard question, Brad.
No
I
pressure.
don't- No pressure.
No pressure.
We asked the tough questions on La La Land.
Wow. Okay. So what is the most important? Not to give a lot of dead air here, but it's one that takes a lot of question, it takes a lot of thought, and a lot of introspection. I love what I do, and if I try to pinpoint the first moment where I was like, that's when I probably was the first time I was an artist, or the first time I was an actor, or the first time I got the bug, or whatever. It probably, I don't know that I could pinpoint that exact moment. It is something that is so ingrained into the fiber of my being that so when I have the opportunity to act in any capacity, it allows me to be the essence of myself. And that's why I love it, because I don't have to be anybody else but myself. So.
It's a beautiful thing. I guess you bring yourself into a lot of roles that you
We all
work
do.
on. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when I play that murderous, whatever, and the next time I do something exciting like that,
That's really
it's just
you.
a little bit of me.
That's part of you. Nice. Guys, we're talking with actress, vocalist Sara J. Stuckey. You can find information about her on sarajstuckey.com. If you have any questions, give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on La La Land today with Brett and Ashley Quammen right here on CRN Digital Talk. Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin. That's Ashley Quammen.
Hello.
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 We're talking today to actress, vocalist Sara J. Stuckey. If you have any questions for Sara, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. 1-800-336-2225.
Any question at all. I'm an open book with several chapters torn out. No, I'm kidding. I'm an open book. Go ahead.
Awesome. So call in, guys. She's an open book. You worked on a film that Ashley and I both saw called Soundscape. It's a short film with no sound. You played a deaf woman. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I mean, it was just a little 5-minute short. It was through a USC student, which was kind of fun. He actually wrote the story based on a similar experience I think that his sister had, although his sister was not deaf, but a similar experience. So he kind of spun it off of that, and he created this character. He wasn't. It was their project where they weren't allowed to use any dialogue specifically. Like you couldn't write out a script of actual spoken words. So I think he found an interesting way to still find a way to express that, where maybe the majority of the audience wouldn't necessarily know what was being said.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had us come in, and he wrote this story about this young girl who. Very much in love with her longtime boyfriend. They're expecting a baby, and she stumbles across something where she believes he's having an affair and cheating on her. So, and how she deals with that at that moment. So,
Well, I think just the level of emotion that you were able to portray in a nonverbal sense was really admirable. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
I think sometimes actors rely on the dialogue to portray emotion, and so when you're naked. You're essentially naked. You just have yourself and your face and your actions and reactions.
I never actually went through this particular exercise, but I know that there were several of my coaches growing up who would talk about how when they were being trained, their directors or coaches would take the scripts away and basically say, you need to do the scene, but you don't use any words. And so they're like, doing really strange, weird sounds, but still needing to tell the story, still needing to but experience the emotion of what's going on at any second. And I think that can be a really powerful tool or exercise for an actor to go through, just to make sure you're checking into that level. Again, I've never done the exercise myself, so I can't say that, oh my God, I did it and it was amazing. I learned so much. But again, from my perspective, having just a knowledge of another language, you still need to communicate one way or another. And when we communicate, even in English, we feel things, we know things, we're having visceral reactions every second of every day. So when we are handed the script, it's up to us as the actor to go beyond that and say, okay, well, yeah, I might say I'm going to the store, but what's really going on? What are they really feeling? What do they really think about going to the store? What do they really think about the person that they're talking about? What are they going to the store for? Are they really going to the store? And we start asking so many questions, and people laugh at me. They're like, you ask too many questions. It's like, yeah, that's why I kind of probably should be an actor, because I do. I ask way too many questions, but
that's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
Is there any sort of different preparation that you do for a role that's nonverbal as opposed to a verbal role?
I don't think so. I mean, when I do play a role where I play a deaf person, which I will say I don't care to do that too often, because I think that there are plenty of other deaf actors out there who could really play the role much better than I could. Mm-hmm. But in this particular case, it was an opportunity for me to experience playing a deaf character, and and get myself some camera time, but when in preparing for the role, I find that especially when it's a deaf character, I sometimes trip myself up by focusing too much on, well, what am I saying? Am I saying it right? Am I using the correct signs? Mm. And because it's very cultural, and that's a whole other radio show, I think, but you want to make sure that you're using the words properly, and as an actor too, you have to get yourself beyond what you are saying, and that is the biggest hurdle and the biggest success once you do it. You're like, I totally nailed that. I totally emoted, and it was awesome.
We did a fantastic job on that in the film.
Yeah,
thank
very
you.
nicely
I enjoy
done.
it. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much for being here again today.
I love being here. It's just fun to chat with you, and I always see you guys on the face, the book of face.
We have fun on La La Land.
The book. I'd rather be on La La Land. It's fun.
Guys, check her out at sarajstuckey.com, and we're going to be back to talk to actress Michelle Tomlinson. If you have any questions for either one of them, give us a call at 1-800-336-2225, 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on La La Land today with Brett and Ashley Quammen on CRN Digital Talk. Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin, and that's Ashley Quammen.
Hello.
We're talking today with actress Michelle Tomlinson. If you have any questions for Michelle, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225, 1-800-336-2225. And if you have any questions about shoes, you can definitely let Michelle know too. We're talking shoes here during the break.
Whole conversation about shoes,
including stilettos and sneakers and flip-flops. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my connection to Michelle is that Michelle, by circumstance, filmed a movie at my house. And the movie is called Officer Down, by the way. It stars Rachel Allig, who's incredible as well. And
directed by the amazing Richard Bakewell. We just have to say that much too. He's amazing.
I like Richard. He's a good guy.
He's cool.
Definitely. And I'm sitting and I'm watching your scene, and we all kind of had to be real quiet and watching your scene, and it was just it was the acting equivalent of Superman going backwards around the Earth to turn back time. It was just
Wow.
ridiculously good
Wow.
performance. And I remember how emotionally drained you kind of were and afterwards, and how quiet everybody was after the director yelled cut.
What was the scene?
Yeah, tell us a little bit
the
about
scene.
filming that
It
scene.
was so hard. God, I spent, for the actual audition itself, I spent 15 hours breaking down the scene, like second to second to second to second, because she's an abused character and also very manipulative, but the abused part was going to be really easy just to play it as one note of just the abused girl. And so I was really focused on trying not to just do this one note thing with this character, because there were so many more layers. And so I spent 15 hours breaking it down for the audition. The audition was amazing. It was Richard and I met, and we had I think like an hour-long conversation before I even did the scene. And I was thinking during this conversation, I was like, this guy is awesome. He feels like such a solid human being. He totally knows the industry. I mean, I'm dealing with somebody who's got it going on with the industry and what he's doing and his vision and everything else. I was thinking, please, God, let me book this. Did the scene, went really well, obviously. And then I did a callback with Stefan Prater via Skype, because he was in Chicago. And that went really well. I wound up booking it. And she's an abused girl who is in this cycle of consistently calling the cops. We all hear about this type of person where it's like, I broke my nail, I'm going to call the cops, because by law, if you call 911, somebody absolutely has to show up. There's no other way. Like, they have to. Mm-hmm. She's a lonely girl stuck in an abusive relationship. Her man knocks the snot out of her all the time, and she uses that as a manipulation to consistently get this same cop back. Just kind of getting to know when he's always going to be on duty, and then needles her man until they have an explosive moment. Then she calls the cops with bruised and la-la-la on her face, and always lets her boyfriend get away before she even calls the cops, because it's about having the attention of the cop coming over. And there's like this intense vulnerability that she has to have interwoven in with manipulating the cop into, they wind up making out at the end of the scene, you know, and she's got to like get her digs in him big time to where he'll let her make out with him at the end of the scene. And it's the feel sorry for me, and it's
wow.
It was so hard. It was so incredibly hard, and it was awesome, and it was fun. And I think the more challenging the role is, the more fun it actually winds up being.
That's an intense character.
Yeah, it was awesome.
When is that coming out? It's in post-production right now. Do they know when it's coming out yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that I think he has a rough cut done of the film itself.
And what's the name so we can look out for it?
Officer Down.
Officer Down.
It's on IMDb. You can find it on IMDb right now. I'm dying to see how that scene came out.
I'm dying to see how the rest of the movie came out.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
I want to see the entire thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're incredibly experienced. I mean, you've worked on all kinds of film. I got a chance to watch The Seer, the film that you worked on. That was really cool. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that?
The Seer was an awesome experience as well, and it was directed by a really fantastic woman, Linda Anderson, and it stars a really amazingly talented actress named Deborah Stewart. And it started out as possibly, let's do this as a short film, and then we think this might be a pilot, and then it turned into a web series. So it kind of went through a gamut of what it was going to be, which is fine. And I played a cop in that one, so I got to be the cop. And my girlfriend was played by Deborah Stewart, Gwen Marcus, and she had psychic abilities to be able to see, like if she touched something physical that the victim had on their person at some point, then she'd be able to kind of tap into the victim's mind and see part of the crime being done and know who did it. And it was fateful because my best friend Landell Goolsby actually also booked the part of Jeremy Raines, who was the culprit in this particular webisode, is the culprit of the bad guy of doing this.
He's creepy.
Oh, he's great. And if you saw the rest of his work, you'd be like, I can't believe that's the same dude that played Jeremy Raines. He is amazing. Awesome. Amazingly talented actor. And so, yeah, that was the premise of the web series. And I think there was a spinoff in doing it as a comic book or something. I don't know. I ended up losing touch, unfortunately, but it was a really incredible experience. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, check it out on IMDb or on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes. It has several hits, I think, on there now. It was like, wow, right on.
Good stuff. And you also produced something called The Missing Adventures of McT&A?
Yes.
It's kind of a spoof on Twilight?
We did have a Twilight spoof. That was hysterical. It was a 7-page script, and we literally finished shooting in 7 hours. It was incredible. And I cast all the right people to play the Edward, the Jacob, and the Bella, and my producing partner, Kimberly Amato, and I just had a blast putting that together and shooting it. It was ridiculous. And I do love Twilight because I am 12.
Well,
but it was still easy to do
all
it.
12 inside when it comes to Twilight.
Totally.
Guys, call in with your questions for actress Michelle Tomlinson at 1-800-336-2225. You can find her at michelletomlinson.com, and we'll be back on La La Land today with Brett and Ashley Quammen on CRN Digital Talk. For Michelle, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225, 1-800-336-2225. And Michelle, I wanted to ask you about a film that you worked on that's become pretty popular and kind of becoming a cult classic, Brain Dead. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
That movie is so much fun. First of all, Kevin Tenney, the director of that, he and his wife are amazing, amazing, amazing human beings. And that movie was crazy because we shot in record high heat in the Angeles forest. It was like the hottest it had been in 25 years or something like that, is when we were shooting out there in a tented cabin. So actually inside the cabin was 127 or so degrees.
Wow.
And the wardrobe artist kept having to shove ice packs and paperclip, clothespin, safety pin them. Dear God, there goes my brain. Safety pin the ice packs into the back of our shirts and stuff like that to try to keep us from being puddles of blech.
Wow.
And I play another lesbian character, Claudia Bush, who is a very sassy, bratty little shit. Can I say that on here?
No, not really, but
whoops.
You already said it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Gosh darn it, shoot. She's a sassy little brat, though, and she was a lot of fun to play. Very tough character. And funnily enough, my boyfriend at the time, Josh Benton, was booked as the role of Clarence. There is a part in the film, it's one of the few films I actually die in. I think it might actually be the only film I died in. Yeah. I get shot with this crazy alien slime that had invaded the earth and turning people into zombies and everything. And so I got shot in the face with all this stuff. And so it was like, oh my God, before she turns into another zombie or something, we have to kill her. So he got the joy of shoving me into a fireplace, head first into a fireplace to kill me by fire.
That's good for the relationship.
Oh, fantastic.
We're
still friends, so there's no bitterness.
No one's ever died that way in a film, have they?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen, but it was definitely something new. And it was experiencing the way that all the effects were done, because it was all practical effects, which was fascinating, because I grew up watching a lot of horror films and stuff as a little kid, and you never realize how cool practical effects are until you actually see them happening in real life, and it was awesome.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And you've done some work with Missoula Children's Theater. Actually, all our guests and our guest co-host have connections to Missoula, Montana.
Yeah.
Even though I'm the only one that's never been there, I think. Yeah, when I was super, super little, I did a couple of plays, and one of them, I know I did The Wizard of Oz at some point, and I did something else, and I can't think of what it was, but I think I was 8 or so years old, and I was a little dancing tree for, a few nights of theater when I was a little tot. But it was fun. Missoula Children's Theater is awesome. It's a great experience.
It's a great organization.
Yeah, and they're still around, yeah?
They're still around, yeah.
Very
Awesome.
well respected.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they travel and bring theater to towns that otherwise don't. I mean, Los Alamos, New Mexico did not exactly have a strong theater anything there. Nothing was happening in New Mexico at that time as far as the industry went. And it was really great to experience that.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So did you know at that young age, as a dancing tree, this was it? Was that your moment? That was the moment.
This is what I'm going to do. It's funny, like Sara Stuckey said, I don't know that I have an actual defining moment like that. When I did some plays when I was a little kid, and then I got into high school and discovered how much I love doing video productions. So I did a ton of stuff behind the camera with a guy named Bobby Springer, who's an amazing talent and does the technical director for Channel 9 News in Colorado now, and my friend Kelby Floyd, who I don't know if I can say where he works. Anyway, he also does technical director stuff as well out here in Los Angeles now. And we won awards. Like, we had a blast doing all things behind the camera, video production wise. So I fell in love with that and didn't really think much about acting. I was like, meh, it's just some little kid thing I did. And I was a dancing tree and I did some other stuff and whatever. And then I hit college and I was going to continue the path of mass communications. And there was a whole lot of little things that happened that made me go, this doesn't taste right. Like, it's like the sauce that's missing garlic salt or something. It was just stopped feeling right.
Acting?
The mass communication stuff, all the behind the camera stuff at that time. I was like, I think I'm going to do something else and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a theater class for the easy elective blah, blah. I took a theatrical makeup class with Felipe Macias and a beginning acting class with Patrick Rucker. And I went, oh my God, like, bam, something just clicked. And that, I guess, would be the defining moment, but that was the most delicious thing I'd ever experienced of going, this is where I'm really falling in love, way more than I ever did with the technical hoodly-hoo in high school. And that's a technical term, by the way. Hoodly-hoo.
Hoodly-hoo. Very nice.
Look it up. It's on Google.
Well, I think that's very important to follow your instincts and follow your gut. Yeah. And I'm sure that as an actor, that is absolutely what's led to your success, is following your instincts and following your gut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's been times I haven't, and I'm like, oh my God, that film's going to come out someday. But, you know, what do you do?
So on following your gut, how do you pick your roles? Do you have a certain criteria? Or?
I just want to work with quality humans who know what they're doing, who have a quality product. Mm-hmm. And that is really the most basic criteria. If it's a short film, if it's a play, if it's a feature film, that really doesn't matter to me nearly as much as, is this going to be an enjoyable experience? Is this going to challenge me as an actor?
Right.
That's what's going to call to me more than anything else.
As we're talking with actress Michelle Tomlinson, if you have any questions for her, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on La La Land today with Brett and Ashley Quammen on CRN Digital Talk. Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin. That's Ashley Quammen.
Hello. Good job with the name this time.
Got it right.
You got it.
Right.
I'm actually surprised you haven't gotten tired of saying Quammen. It's not an easy last name.
Well, because it has Chapin and Quammen, so it's like easy to say together. I don't know. Because they both end with N.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is me reaching for
to say
stuff. And we're talking with actress Michelle Tomlinson of MichelleTomlinson.com. If you have any questions for her.
.net.
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
That's okay.
Bad host.
I should have been a .com, but somebody bought it before me. Rascals.
MichelleTomlinson.net. If you have any questions for Michelle, give us a call at 1-800-336-2225, 1-800-336-2225. And you've done a lot of work with Arthur Mendoza and Stella Adler and Amy Linden. What are some of the most important things that you've learned working with those incredible instructors?
Oh my God, everything. Arthur Mendoza is hands down. We all have our favorite acting teachers and, you know, people that we glommed the most stuff from. He is the best scene study teacher Los Angeles could ever possibly have to offer. He worked hand in hand with Stella Adler for something like, I think, 15 years or something. I mean, just worked hand in hand with her. So when you're learning from him, you're learning direct Adler method. It's not some watered down, bogus, backstreet, crappy thing that you're receiving as a technique. You're learning actual factual stuff. And he just kicked my butt 8 ways to Sunday. Every single class. That's how I learned discipline. I was a very undisciplined actor when I came to LA, because that's a hard thing to teach. Sure. Discipline. That's a super hard thing to instill into people, and he somehow managed to do it. He was so fantastic and taught me really how to break down a character and really get into the juice of a character and scene work and everything. And it was an amazing foundation to add on to already having a BFA in theater performance at ENMU. So after I did that, I went on to figure out, okay, so I'm not booking anything. I audition a lot, but I'm not booking, and I have no clue what I'm doing wrong, because nobody and we all know I love Arthur Mendoza now, nobody in scene study world really teaches you the business side of acting and teaches you a technique to get to the bone marrow quick and get it moving and get it in there and get it done, or really even how to approach the audition space itself. In came Amy Linden. That's her. That is her cornerstone of this whole industry, is her 15 guideline map to booking. And I started studying with her and working with her in her office and stuff, and really learned how to fine-tune how I approach the actual audition, because that is always a missing element for most actors. Of just having scene study, that's missing. So I really learned and honed how to book the job, and then I wound up starting to teach her technique about 5 years ago, and have been teaching that privately to students for the last 5 years. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of actors underestimate, is the business side. It's so important.
It is just as important to understand what you're doing business-wise as it is how to act.
Absolutely.
If you don't know anything about the business, you're pretty much hosed.
Actress Michelle Tomlinson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Find information about Michelle at michelletomlinson.net. And thank you so much, Ashley Quammen.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, and it was good talking to you, Michelle.
Good talking to you, Money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week on the show, I'm really excited, guys. We're going to be talking to the author of the book Sideways, Rex Pickett.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Good stuff. We're going to have a nice, long, hour-long one-on-one with him. So I'm sure he's got
Very
a lot
cool.
of good stuff.
Cool. Tune in.
And guys, you can find information about us at facebook.com/lalalandtalk and twitter.com/lalalandtalk. Send us a video submission for our co-host search by September 21st to lalalandtalk@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week on La La Land.
Bye, guys.
With Brett and Ashley Quammen right here on CRN Digital Talk. We'll see you at the top.